Bottom line, should it be free? At 4-year level, yeah, I don't see why we can't make it free or more affordable, because it's not going to take away from what it is. It's not going to take that work away. You're
Yeah.
going to have to put in the work regardless. And that's
Yeah,
why
for
my
sure.
son, my 12-year-old was like, nope, they got to pay for it. They got to earn it. It's
I
like,
mean, I get it. I get it
dang,
there.
boy, like we're ruthless out here today, I guess.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Super Deep Podcast. Yes, if you guys been watching my podcast or our podcast for a while now, I've kind of adjusted the name. It's called the Super Deep Podcast now. And for reasons, I don't know, I just changed it because it just made more sense. So we're going to run with it, and I hope you guys like it. So yeah, welcome to the Super Deep Podcast. My name is Starr. I'm your host. Unfortunately, my co-host couldn't make it today. She was feeling a little bit under the weather, but we are here for season 3. I almost did this. Season 3. A new season on the podcast. We're gonna have brand new guests throughout the episode. Sometimes it will just be me and my co-host. And like we always do, we dive deep into different topics, different subjects. And this episode, the first episode for season 3, is gonna be a special one. We talk about school. Oh, before you guys be like, oh man, school, trust me, it's very interesting. So stay tuned. Again, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button so that you don't miss any episode, which airs every Wednesday. Don't forget that. If you guys are on Spotify, thank you guys so much. Please follow the podcast, rate the show, please, out of 5 stars. But whatever you guys want to rate it, that's totally fine. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Without further ado, we are going to bring in a guest. She is one of my friends. Her name is Jessica Griner, and she is a university counselor. If I'm mistaken, no, if I got that right, no, yes,
Yeah.
okay,
University counselor. So
university
I just
counselor.
kind of like a career counselor for higher education.
Sounds good. Well, welcome in our very first guest
Thanks.
for the new season. Hope you've been having you had a great weekend, with the holidays and all that stuff. So, you excited for the show?
I am a little nervous, excited, feel a little honored to be the first of the episode 3. Sad that we're missing our co-host today. I hope she feels better.
I appreciate
Maybe
it.
I'll have to come back on and meet her some other time.
Yeah, for sure. So, without further ado, guys, we're gonna get it started. So the first thing, Jessica, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you're from. If you have a family and or whatever you want to share.
Born and raised in New York. I'm living out here in Phoenix, Arizona right now. So dealing with this heat. So if you see me chugging my water, I already told Starr, like, it's just a necessity here. I have a 22-year-old and a 12-year-old, and then my husband and I have been together since I was 14, so a long time.
Other than the being a university counselor, was there anything? Was that what you wanted to do growing up, or was there like something else that you really wanted to do?
Oh God, no, nope. I think the first thing I can remember is I wanted to be an archaeologist. I loved running around the woods. I lived on the lakes, upstate New York. My dad's Seneca Native Indian, so we grew up there in the Finger Lakes area. And I just love being in the woods. I love finding fossils. I love doing all that. And then my parents said I'm good at arguing, so recommended me being a lawyer. Read about that. I was like, yeah, I could do that. And then I think 3rd or 4th grade, I learned about Martin Luther King Jr., which I don't know why we don't teach kids stuff like that younger, but anyways, it's a whole nother topic. But I wanted to be him. I wanted to make a difference in this world. But yeah, I think I get to do that on a day-to-day basis, just on a much smaller platform.
No, we all right. No, we all
Yeah.
wish we were, big influencers, especially, MLK, right?
Yeah.
So you were talking about you like fossils and all that stuff. Was like, what was the oldest or coolest fossil thing you found, or if you ever found any?
Oh gosh, I still have a jar of them downstairs. I made my kids go, like, a couple summers ago. We were back up in New York. I made them go walk the lake with me, and find like all these little lakeshore fossils. So like plants from the lakes up there, arrowheads. Still find them. Not very common now, but when I was a kid, they seemed to be around all over the place up there. So yeah, I mean,
You find any animals or anything?
no, but not far from where I lived, in Kashawn Creek, which was actually part a sacred area for the natives there. Um, they found a pterodactyl fossil
Wow,
there, so there's a lot of pretty cool stuff there. Yeah, the East Coast is rich in history. I miss that.
that's crazy. A freaking pterodactyl. I
Hmm.
was thinking more of like a not even dinosaur era. Like I was thinking more like closer to our era, but that's crazy.
Yeah,
A
I mean, I guess the
pterodactyl.
arrowheads, yeah, some broken pottery and stuff like that.
Well, you know, now that the viewers, the millions of viewers got to know got to know a little bit about you, you know, again, I appreciate you coming on the show.
For sure.
Before we dive deep into the whole school thing, school systems, you know, you guys probably have a little bit of a idea of what we're going to talk about. But how we're going to do it is I have a few prompts, and you know, me and Jessica are either going to agree or disagree to it, and then we're going to talk about it. So, and then if you guys, you know, want to participate in the conversation, you know, feel free to comment down below what your guys' thoughts are, and yeah, we're going to get it going. So we are going to move on into the very first thing that we're going to do, as we do with every guest on a podcast. And we're going to go with questions roulette. And you guys already know what time it is. So basically, it's kind of like fast money on Family Feud, right? And, you know, I have 10 questions, and in under a minute, Jessica's going to try and answer them as best as possible, you know, to her best knowledge. Well, it's not like a right or wrong answer, right? It's more of an opinionated thing. So, you ready for this, Jessica?
Always.
All right. So first question, what is your favorite food?
Oh God, pasta. I love
Pasta.
pasta. Yes.
Would you rather live in the heat or the cold?
Oh, that's so tough. Like I looked this up, I researched this. The Mediterranean. That's where I want to live. Like that climate. Perfect. I want to
Perfect.
be hot.
All right. Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Pepsi.
Pepsi. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
All day. I don't know why that's a question,
Yeah.
but anyways, it's a question. What is your favorite superhero or villain?
I mean, I love Wonder Woman. I wanted to be Wonder Woman, but I think I might be like, soul sister with her. But yeah, um, yeah, it's hard. Villains are so conflicted though,
It
and
is.
so are yeah.
So
Oh,
Wonder
that's a tough
Woman it
question.
is. All right. So would you rather be lost in the middle of the desert or lost in the middle of the ocean?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with desert on that one. I'm terrified of like rogue waves and things like that. Nope.
All right. All right. Best actor of all time.
All time. I mean, Betty White is awesome. Like, can we get it for her? She's very versatile, but she's a comedian. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I like comedy. So
Oh, that's a good choice for sure.
yeah,
All right, next one. In and Out or Whataburger?
and now all day.
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter. I don't even know anything on Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, whoever is Lord of the Rings fan, don't bash her. What's your favorite song?
Oh, I have so many. It changes on my mood. I literally can't pick one favorite song. Like I've seen you ask this question a million times. I literally have thought about this and I just can't. My favorite song right now, currently that I've been listening to a lot is the last month is you guys actually talked about it, and I think you and I talked about it was Bread. I've been listening to Bread because I lost my mom, so listening to God, I can't even draw a blank. Like I'm all nervous on here.
It's all good, no worries. So
Yeah.
we got one more question. Who is your favorite podcaster? Oh, we ran out of time.
Oh,
I'm just
you of course.
kidding. Well, that was the 10 questions. The last one is just a joke. But anyways, you know, I was I saw this question, the one I asked you with the middle of the desert or middle of the ocean, and that one was a pretty heated, not heated, but like a pretty long conversation with me and my coworkers, and just half of us went with ocean, the other half went with desert, and my whole thing was like, at least in the desert, you can like, there's a better chance of finding drinkable water.
Survival and not dying of a rogue wave. Yeah, I mean, how are you going to purify water out in the middle of the ocean?
Exactly. I mean, you could like when if you're in the middle of the ocean, you could fish and get food and stuff like that, but you need water to survive. Actually, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So at least with the desert, I mean, I get it. You know, there's no water in the desert, but at least eventually you will find it. Compared to the ocean, you will never find fresh water.
Right. I'm going with the ocean is not where I would go because I watched this episode on Rogue Waves back. I mean, when was that Poseidon movie or whatever that was that came out
I
with
think like
the,
early 2000s, I think.
oh gosh, that makes me feel so old. But yeah, back when that was out, first they did a thing on Discovery about rogue waves and how like that could actually be a reality and it's happening with more and more frequency. And I'm just like, nope,
No,
nope.
I'm afraid of the deep ocean anyway. I mean, I know I live in Hawaii, and to say that I'm afraid of the water, that's pretty weird. But I had a bad experience. So, anyways,
Pretty smart, if you ask me.
um, the In and Out and Whataburger. I was surprised it was like a clean answer. In and Out all day.
Yeah, all day.
Do you
It's
not do you
just,
not like a Whataburger at all?
no. Mm-mm.
Really?
I had a bad experience. I
Oh,
had a bad
okay, I
experience.
got you.
Like there, the one it used to be on 59th and Bell, like back in the day. That Whataburger there, Bell Road and 59th Avenue. If you live in Phoenix, you know what I'm talking about. Place got shut down, had bad health ratings. Like didn't know, ate there, got sick, never again.
And that's probably way before I moved here then.
Yeah, I moved
Because
out here in '03.
they put a Whataburger out by us actually on Waddell and the 303.
Oh,
And
okay,
we go there not all the time, but we go there from time to time, and shoot, they're over there is pretty good. I've tried Whataburgers at other places, and I always tell this to people like when you eat at like different franchises or whatever, like it all depends on whoever the cook is at that specific location.
for sure.
Cause
In and
like
Out consistent though, like
it
everywhere.
is, yeah. Yeah.
And they haven't raised their prices. They're keeping it real.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like one of my friends, I don't know if he's gonna be watching this episode, but he is like he keeps telling me like I'm not gonna be your friend anymore if you keep saying this. And I always tell him that one of the best burgers I've ever had was at this place on Bell and the 303, Denny's over there.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, bro, you're kidding me, bro. Like he didn't want to talk to me. I was like, bro, trust me. I think it's just whoever's the cook is over there. He's just an amazing cook. But but yeah, so questions roulette, that was a great one. You know, good answers. And we are going to dive into the very first prompt of the main part of this podcast. And we're gonna be diving into school again, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, yeah, if you guys have your opinions about any of these prompts, go ahead and comment them down below. I would like to know. And if you guys have any questions or any other prompts that you guys would like for this podcast to talk about on whichever episode, yeah, go ahead and we'll give you some credit. You know, be like, all right, this prompt was from so and so, and yeah, there you go. So the first prompt is: schools should mandate that all students be required to take financial literacy course prior to graduating.
You know, I was thinking about that and mandating it. I think it's a good idea, but I just hate the word mandating. I don't know if it's just the rebel in me. I just don't like being told what to do for anything by anyone, but I think it's a good idea that we educate our kids and everybody financially. I mean, not everybody what was that book about rich kids' dads or something like that, or you know what I'm talking about?
Rich
Like
dad,
it's
poor dad.
yeah.
Rich dad,
And
poor
it's
dad. Yeah.
just it's really true. Like if you aren't brought up in that where financials are a big part of your life and you're talking about it all the time, you're not going to have the education. Kids, some kids don't even know how to open a checking account or fill out a W-9 or basic things that you're going to need to enter the workforce in
Yeah,
and
exactly.
everyday life stuff. So yeah, like I think it's a
Exactly.
good idea. What do you think?
I mean,
What are your
it's
thoughts? Are we agreeing?
I mean, no, we definitely agree, but as far as like the word mandate, probably it is a pretty strong word, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
incorporating it into the school's curriculum,
Yeah.
definitely, right? And it's I'm sure you can agree, and I know a lot of people that, millennials and, even who's the gen before us, Gen X,
The next, yeah.
Gen X, and a lot of the older people that obviously not in school anymore, they all would say the same thing. We wish we had some kind of financial literacy class or course or whatever to help us for the real world, because
Hmm.
essentially that's what education is, right? Preparing them for the real world.
Yeah, I think we've gotten away from that a lot. Like if you look at
Yeah.
the high school curriculum from All right, so I'm born in the early 80s, and you look at from when I started school to my graduation, and then you look at I have a 22-year-old, his was completely unrecognizable to me because I mean, I went to school in New York, he went out to school here in Arizona, totally different. I think we were dead last or 48th in education for a while out here in Arizona.
Wow.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, we were not ranked well. And but it's totally different. And my mom, even talking to her, like they did home economics, they did shop class, technology class. And even then, like she felt like her education was still lacking a lot of things. Like they didn't do like what I do for my job. They didn't do career counseling, college counseling, post school counseling, like if you want to go to a trade or if you want to get into a job. They didn't do all that even at her generation. I feel like at high school level, we should be offering those things, like offering them resume help, offering them job training, or, you know, if you want to go to secondary college and what and you want to do and how you get there. Like
Yeah.
I talk to so many people on a day-to-day basis that don't even have any idea of what they really want to do or how to get there.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's definitely a tough topic, you know, because you know a lot of people have their own opinions, and you know a lot of school programs or a lot of states do you know offer some of these things that you brought up, but
Yeah,
it's
they haven't
like
gone away
yeah,
completely.
haven't gone away completely, but it's like I don't know, it's like the I don't know what it is, but you might probably might know more, but maybe the government just don't see that in their eyes, it might not be the best fit, but in as far as like us actually, you know, going through it in that time, we feel like we needed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I hear a lot of it about funding. You know, we're looking at teachers' pay. We're looking at even art classes were even talking about being cut from schools here not too long ago. They didn't even want to raise the income tax or the sales tax like uh, a
That's
penny for a
crazy.
dollar just to afford those. And like, yeah, my kid got attacked. He was 14, 15. He looks older than what he is. And he was big basketball players, tall, had facial hair. Some older gentleman was sitting outside the rec center where I dropped him off, and I'm sitting there and I see this guy going off on my kid. I get out of the car and I'm like, hey, are we good here, guys? And he's like, well, you want him to sign this petition against raising the taxes. I was like, first of all, he's not even of voting age.
Yeah,
Second of all, do you live here full time, sir? Because that's another thing. Not everybody even lives here full time.
yeah.
Do you like the value of your property taxes? Do you want good schools in your district? Like, come
Mhm.
on now.
All right. So you brought
That's a whole big thing.
yeah,
A whole big
definitely,
thing. Don't don't
definitely
get
a
me
whole
going
big
on the
thing.
government. They don't understand. They don't understand what it's like to be people. I don't think they have zero perspective of what it's like for you and I or and other people in our day-to-day lives.
Well, I think it's more of kind of like your I don't know your typical success story where you know most people, not saying all people, but most people kind of forget where they came from. You know what I mean? And because
Yeah.
essentially the government is, you know, they're just regular people who were at some point in our shoes, or you know what I mean? And you know they made it up there, and you know now
Except
they,
for the Obamas, you see them like about that. They brought back that working thing on
Mhm.
Netflix. Like, come on, they're keeping it real.
Yeah,
But I think a lot of them are just a lot older and really came from money already.
yeah, yeah.
A
I
lot of
mean,
them. A majority of them. I think we'd have to run some statistics on that, but I'm willing to bet.
yeah, I got you, I got you. So you brought up some good things a little earlier. What you said, which kind of leads me to the next prompt. Should home ec, wood shop, and you know those type of classes, etc., be brought back into the high school curriculum?
For sure. No doubt about it. Because, I mean, like we said, I don't think they've gone away completely, but they definitely have fallen off. I don't think my kid's school offered that. I think economics was required, but look at in middle school. Who wants to give that information to middle schoolers? That kid came home with anxiety. It was like, I have to get a mortgage. I have to pay interest rates. Like, he was not okay with that in middle school. This kid was like, nope, moving in the basement, staying there forever, mom. Dude, oh man, but yeah, I think we should be helping people be ready to enter the workforce. Not everybody is wanting college. Not everybody's wanting to move, and not everybody needs it. Not everybody needs to go to college
Yeah,
to, you know. And look at what we're coming into now with all the boomers, you know, going retiring. Like we're coming into that where they're retiring and we're losing a lot of people in the trades.
Yeah.
And we don't have anybody to fill those positions.
Yeah, for sure. And people are not too much people are educated on the trades, the trade schools and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like if you really do your research, and I did a little bit of research, I'm sure you know too, a lot of trades, the trades, one, they pay for your schooling, they teach you on the job training, exactly how to do their specific job, and they teach you specifically what you need to know for the specific job. You know what I mean? At the same time, you're not like in debt.
A lot of them, they call them apprenticeships. And I think you and I were talking about this, the other day. Like, I really feel like they should bring back apprenticeships, like
Yeah.
for a lot of things. Like, either you got it or you don't, man. Like, you can go ahead. There's a joke. I worked in the medical field for so long. What do they call the person who graduated last of his class for his doctorate? Doctor. Like, he could still be a doctor, but not be
Yeah.
good at it. Like,
Yeah.
and it might be because that was, his family's thing. Like we talked about, coming from money. Mom's a doctor, dad's a doctor. He was supposed to be a doctor, but maybe he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. We talked about it before, as far as like educating these high schoolers, as they step into their adulthood, their adult life, telling them that like, it's kind of tough because, us millennials, especially in the millennial generation, it was all about going to college. I don't know what it was. If you guys know, kind of let me know in the comments, or Jess, you can tell me what it actually was, because from what I heard, there was some kind of, I guess, whatever thought in the air going around that like we're supposed to go to college, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that was
And
like win or lose thing type of deal, right? It's I think it's up to us, or the people now, whatever, to educate our younger ones, to tell them that like that's not the only option, and for them to figure out what they kind of want to do as they're in that transition of being a teen to an adult, stepping into that adult life, right? You guys understand? They they deserve to know all their options instead of just, this is what the success is. That's where you got to go. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
because all right, so we were talking about that, that thought bubble that was driven in. It was literally driven into us. I don't know if it was. I think it was at a micro and a macro level. I swear, I was getting it from school, from my parents,
Yep.
from everybody. You go to college, get your 4-year degree, you're good to go. You're going to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of us feel like we were robbed and lied to over that one?
Yeah.
I do. Like I did everything right, and I still am starting my whole life all over again at almost 40. Like I'm having to restructure everything because
I
I
mean,
did everything right.
I think the biggest thing was not knowing the financial part. I mean,
Yeah, no,
we understood getting the education, and maybe becoming the doctor, or an astronaut, or whatever, or build buildings, and the architects, or whatever, right? That's
there's
we
licensure things that,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
exactly.
I'm not bashing education at all. Like I love education. I love books. But yeah, there are different pathways and there's definitely more options, and I don't think it's right. At 18, when you haven't had the opportunity, like we talked about in high school, to explore all your options, you haven't got to take shop class yet. Some of these schools aren't offering art class or only as electives. They're not even, regular everyday classes like we used to have back in the day. I mean, I am thankful for my school system I went through in New York. I did square dancing. Took second language for 6 years. I got to do all kinds of different stuff, and it was required that we had to pick from these electives every semester starting in 6th grade. And I'm grateful for that because I got to try so many different things,
Right, right.
to try to figure out where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And
Square dancing.
oh, it was fun. I hated it. I was so embarrassed. It was middle school. You know how it is in middle school. Like, I don't want to dance
Yeah.
with nobody. This is lame. And I was from the 90s hip hop era, and I was like, oh, I'm not listening to this country stuff. Like,
Yeah.
no.
So, I mean, so with the whole school thing, with those type of classes, or extra, art or dance class or whatever, like, my high school, I'm sure a lot of high schools do this too, right? I mean, I think they're kind of doing some of those, I guess, classes that maybe should be an actual class in the curriculum as clubs. But the problem
Yeah.
with having it as a club, it's optional. And, maybe the kid, they're not gonna, whoever the kid is, that they like, say they don't know if they really want to do it, but they won't know until they actually do it. But if they did that, like, made it I don't want to say mandate, right? If they made it like an actual class, you know what I mean? Then and they're already in it, and then they have to participate or learn whatever. They might spark an interest. Who knows? But
Yeah.
at least I was given a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, give them at least like a half a semester. Like, okay, I see maybe not doing a full semester like of that whole class, but something like that. Maybe do a half a semester square dancing, half a semester learning how to write music, or
Yeah, yeah,
half a semester of fine art, and then another half a semester of shop class or technology class
yeah.
or something. Give them something. Because I was reading why like schools were fighting over doing home economics and not calling it home economics because it was gender specific. It was taking away opportunity and rights for women and things like that. And
Really?
oh yeah, I read an article about that when I was boning up on my research for
But
this
how does
podcast.
so my question is how does that take away women's rights, home economics?
Dude, I don't know. Cause honestly, like the way I live today, I'm telling you, I think I would have been happy as a 1950s housewife. I'm not even lying. Like I think I would have loved that. But I would not with the freedoms I have today. Like I would love to be a 1950s housewife and be able to go out and volunteer or voice my opinion and,
Right.
you know, not be looked as defective for it.
I just don't understand like how like what negative part can come out of teaching somebody home economics. Like
No, no, no. Like I teach my kids how to cook. I teach my kids how to shop. I teach my kids all that stuff because they're not, it's my job as a parent to educate my children to be successful and explore all their interests as much as possible. My 12-year-old wants to spend this summer learning a new dish every
right.
day. He wants me to teach him a new dish every day, how to cook, how to shop, how
Well,
to do
that's
all of it
good.
for it.
What's up, all you podcast lovers? I just want to take a break and tell you guys a little bit about Roots Global Entertainment. These guys are all about the streaming, gaming, and creating some awesome content that'll keep you entertained for hours on end. With roots in Hawaii, they've got a unique perspective on the world of entertainment that's sure to keep you engaged. And if you're looking for more ways to keep up with their latest releases, their latest posts, or whatever it may be, check out their website at rootsglobalentertainment.com. Whether you're into gaming, streaming, or just love content, great content, Roots Global Entertainment has got you covered. And let's get back to the podcast.
But
I know this is not on a prompt. So do you think homeschooling would be better then? Because then you have the freedom to teach your kids, as like a elective curriculum. You know what I mean?
I mean, a lot of people are going that way. A lot of people are going towards homeschooling, but then I feel like I'm taken away from some of that social aspect and some of those uncomfortable situations like square dancing in middle school that everybody should have to do. Like everybody should have to be flat out embarrassed at some point in their own lives and know how to get through it and know how to function through these things. Like you're taking away a lot of key socialization stuff too that way. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. There's no right or wrong for any one person. I can't say that it's right. I don't think it's right for my kid. I tried homeschooling and online schooling with this whole COVID thing, and man, if he wasn't in the gifted classes, he'd be out on his right now because he he was lucky he was 2 years ahead in school because now he's right where he's supposed to be because he only did art, music, and gym, and I couldn't be on him all day. I'm working. Like, I relied on the teachers to teach and then, check his homework. And I don't know. I grew up before computers and stuff like that. I didn't have a cell phone until I was in my 20s. We're in that sandwich generation.
Mhm.
So I'm not good with all this. My son helped me set all this up. And so he'd show me like, yeah, look, I did my work. And I'm like, yeah, but your teacher's saying. So we had to put him back in regular school in January, halfway through this last year. And he's happier. He's, doing well. He went to his first middle school dance. Like, I don't
That's
know. I think
cool.
it's good
That's
for
always
him.
fun. It's I mean, yeah, there's always, good perks to homeschooling, but there's always, the pros and cons, right? For homeschooling
Everything.
and pros and cons for public schooling or private schooling, whatever. But the thing, like exactly what you said, the thing that homeschooling lacks is the sociability behind it, because these kids, they need friends, they need, to be social, to kind of get out there and kind of find, who they are as a person through other people, right? Because they're
Hmm.
not gonna, you could teach them everything that you want at home, but how are they gonna practice that if they're just at home, right?
Right. I
So
mean, is it our job? I mean, we're talking about the education, and then you're kind of getting in, like, it would be a different topic. Like,
yeah, yeah.
how much
Sorry.
is the education supposed to be like? No, it's fine. I get it. I do this all the time. but I get it. Like, how much is that supposed to be as a parent that I'm supposed to be prepping them, and how much is it the education system supposed to be working towards
Yeah.
and prepping and supporting? And they're neither one's mutually exclusive of the other, but
Right.
yeah.
All right. So let's go into the next prompt. All schools should have a uniform.
The school I put my kid in has uniforms. I'm telling you, as a parent, I love this. I love this. I'm not having to go out and buy him the Yeezys, or what was this? He wanted like these Jordan 4s or something like that, like $400 shoes. Like, sure, kid. I mean, like, I'll get you.
I
And
mean,
like, but
I I agree with you, but it's more of like, I guess it depends on what the uniform is. I don't want it
yeah,
to be way too overboard. Something super simple to where they are unified.
polos and khakis or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, for sure. And my whole thing behind it is the only reason why I would like most, actually all schools to have uniforms is just so that the public knows that these are, little kids, and they kind of have an idea where they're supposed to be if they're on the street walking. They're like, hey, this kid's supposed to be going to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Compared
that's a
to
good
like,
point.
yeah, compared to like, if, let's say, I'm not trying to put anybody out there, but let's just say a kid, no matter what race, they're in street clothes and however they want to dress, maybe a police officer comes down and they might, get the wrong impression of this kid because they might think he's in the streets, but he's actually
Yeah.
a middle schooler. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just cut school. I mean, none of us ever did that, I swear.
Yeah,
But you know what but I mean, it's rite of passage. We gotta socialize.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like I didn't even look at that way, Starr. Like that's a great viewpoint because I mean, if you're putting on that uniform and letting everybody know, hey, I'm a student, that's a good idea. It's like putting on your scrubs, like, hey, I'm a nurse, hey, I'm a
Yeah.
doctor, like, letting everybody know who you are and what your standing is. But then I was looking at it more like the equalizer in school.
Yeah. No,
And I
yeah,
thought it,
for sure.
and then cost effective, like as a parent, it's so much cheaper to buy those uniforms than it
Mhm.
is to have to buy like all his Champion or Mitchell and Ness shorts or all,
Yeah.
and like they start that early, 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 early. Like I'm talking like second grade, these kids. Like
Well,
my oldest,
especially now because of social
yeah,
media.
yeah. Dude, my first name brand I didn't get till I was like sixth, seventh grade, and it was like some $30 Reeboks, man. Like, but yeah,
That's what it
I guess
was. Back in our days, it was just Nike, Reebok, Adidas. That was like the biggest.
Fila's
Fila's,
too.
Fila's. I forgot
Yeah.
about Fila's. I think Puma started to come around a little bit as we got older, but
Yeah, I was running track. I had to get my Pumas.
I wore Pumas for about Pumas football cleats, and I wore
Yeah,
Pumas for
they're
probably my
comfortable.
yeah for my whole. Well, it was weird because it was actually soccer cleats, and I was wearing them playing football.
Eh,
Not
as
your
long as they're not
ideal.
calling you on the turf, you know what I mean? As long
Yeah.
as you're not messing up the turf, that's their big deal about it.
No, but yeah, we both agree, and I'm sure our my co-host Kaleo, she would probably agree that uniforms is, I don't want to say necessity, but it definitely would help out in a lot of different aspects as we brought up. So
Yeah.
I'm sure some of the kids might not like it, but at the end of the day, actually, you know what? My last guest from the my last episode, Marcus Mariota, he brought up, he was like, yeah, we were in uniform, but that was a way of us not worrying about having the best thing, best clothes wearing or whatever, kind of like,
Uh,
took away the bullying of like, look at, he's wearing something funny. We're all the same. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a, like a good aspect or a good way to see it. Let's move on to the next prompt. Students fail because of their demographic situation.
I mean, we can't. This is a tough one, man.
It
Like,
is.
I don't think they're failing because their demographics. Do I think it plays an aspect and a part in it? Yeah. Are you seeing kids that like? I think we talked about this. Like back where at Rochester, New York, where right near where I grew up. It was like maybe 10 years ago now, and I looked up their stats. Now they're better. They've improved a lot, but it was 60% of the inner city kids were dropping out. And then 90 some percent of those kids, 92, 93% were living below the poverty rate with like 25,000 or less for a family income. So does it play a part? Yep, it does. But is it why they're failing? No. I think what they're failing because systems failing in that aspect. Like, you can't I just think it sucks. I can't say it any other way, that funding to schools is based on your zip code. Like, I think it's Virginia or West Virginia, one of them, the Commonwealth state, where they take all the state tax money and pool it and equally distribute it among the schools. Something like that, I think, is better. It levels the playing field, and then you're not so stressed on, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
What do you,
I agree. It's definitely a hit or miss, or it depends. Every person is different. But I think for me, I think at the end of the day, it's up to that kid or whoever it is. It's really up to the kid to make a decision to fail or not fail or succeed. You know what I'm saying? There's so much people out in the world who's successful, whether or not they're successful in sports or in the entertainment business or politics or whatever, or they're a doctor or whatever. They made that decision to, even though where they live, in poverty or whatever, they still dug down deep and made it happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to be successful or not.
yeah,
No matter
you're
what.
100% right on that. I mean, and there's, I guess I just look at it as like, I'm such a nurturer and a caregiver. So I
Yeah.
see it like, and I see some of these struggles that kids go through, and I've seen some of the struggles that my friends went through. And yeah, they face a little bit more. They have a little bit more stress. There's a little more things, but you're 100% right. Like, it's 100% individual. Like, do you want it or do you not? Are you
Yeah.
going to get up and grind even harder the next day if you're not doing well that day or whatever?
Yeah.
You know what? So yeah.
Are you gonna get sucked into the peer pressure of, I don't know, living the street life or joining this gang because, I don't know, maybe a brother or cousin joined it? You know what I mean? Or don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, whoever's watching, don't get me wrong. Like
No, no, I
if
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I feel what you're saying, but I feel like a lot of that too is just, when you talk to kids, like I know people that live that life. And a lot of it is they just want that acceptance. They just want that
Yeah, definitely.
love, and they just feel like when they walk into a school and they're being, they don't have uniforms and they're wearing, whatever, and
Yeah.
they're being stereotyped by the staff, they're being
Yeah.
stereotyped by the administration of those schools. Like,
Yeah.
I had my son, I don't think I shared this. I'm a 22-year-old, I shared that, but I had him when I was 16 and a half. I was in school. I had a year and a half left of school. They didn't give me my tutor. When I came back to school, they called me back down. They called over the announcements, everybody who was failing. I was failing in my first semester when I came back because I never had a tutor. I was out for 6 weeks. And they called it over the announcements, and they shamed and guilted you so bad. And then like
That's
I ended up,
crazy.
oh yeah, little Jessica was not having that. It was a big thing. My poor mom, like I hope she's having so much peace where she's at right now, because man, I was not an easy kid to have. But I got an apology from the superintendent because I was like, and that policy went away after that, because I was like, you can't be doing that. You can't.
Especially at a young age like that. Like
Yeah. Like,
you're just asking for kids to bully these kids. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're asking for me to say F it and walk out the door and
Yeah.
not get my diploma and
Yeah.
not, you know,
Yeah.
luckily
So
I'm
you're definitely right.
stubborn.
You're definitely right that, like, the system failing, the kids itself or the parents or whoever's involved in just everything as far as education is failing to some degree. You know what I mean? Everybody plays a
Yeah,
part, right?
we can make it better. We could do better.
For sure. I mean, that's kind of like the same thing with every aspect of life. We can always make it better. So let's move on to the next prompt. Teachers should get paid more.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, I don't know how they're not. Like, especially because you need a 4-year degree.
Mhm.
Talked about that, talked about cost of college a little bit here, but you need a 4-year degree to be a teacher. I mean, I know some places have eliminated that now just because of the shortage, but in general, you need a 4-year degree or a master's degree to be teaching, and getting paid 30, 40,000 starting salary is not okay. Not okay
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. They're doing that, and they're teachers and they're educators because they're passionate about it, because they love these kids, and
Yeah.
they had a teacher and educator who made a difference in their life, and they want to do that for others. So yeah,
I
I
mean,
think they should
like,
be
I
paid,
mean, the government says how important education is, and
right?
they're not compensating the people who are actually putting forth that education to these kids. You
Right.
know what I'm
So yeah.
saying?
So how who's it important to then at that point,
Yeah,
and
exactly,
why and why?
exactly. No, but I definitely agree with you. It's not just the aspect of them actually paying for school to get this, requirements to be able to teach, but all of the work that's behind it. And like I just mentioned, like if education is so important, this should be like one of the top paying jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree. I wanted to teach, but I mean, I have a family of four. I need to make enough money to be able to support my family. I want to leave generational wealth. Like I wanted to be a third grade teacher, fourth grade teacher. Like I love it. I love being with kids. I love 'em all day
So
long. They're the realest people.
so my next question is, now is it the same for coaches? Because coaches, as far as sports, they do teach a lot too, not just the sports itself, but life lessons and how to be a better person, how to maneuver through life using their skills that they've learned in sporting. You know what I mean? Would you
Yeah, I
kind of,
mean,
maybe
coaches.
maybe
Yeah,
not the same caliber, but
no, but I feel like coaches are educators too.
mhm,
Like it's just a different type of education, and I think it's a necessary education. Like we talked about shop class and everything like that. Like I think sports should be not mandated, but maybe so. Maybe everybody should be picking something within their limitations and things like that. I mean, you don't want to make anybody feel any type of way about anything, like if they're not athletically inclined, but
mhm,
especially for young men, especially. And the reason I'm talking about that is I have sons. So, and I look at this society and I look at the way the world is lacking that aspect that those young men need to have that group structure, those team building skills, how to grind, how to overcome, how to run your gas tank out and then run it out again and run it out again and get that, like we just talked about, how being an individual and having that drive to be successful. A lot of that I think comes from sports. I love sports. I played sports. My kids play sports. It's just, I feel like that's important. I feel like it's crucial. I think coaches and educators and teachers really should be getting a lot more recognition, a lot more pay. They
you
do a
see,
lot.
I'm on the same page as you, but I forgot where I saw this from, but there is a lot of schools and communities that are trying to petition to stop these sports programs because it's taking too much funds for from the that they could use for actual education and putting it towards these sports programs. Like, what do you say about that?
So actual education, but what kind of education are we talking about? Like
Exactly.
what is the definition of that? Like can we get a definition of that from what they're talking about? Because honestly, not everybody is going to be good at sports. Not everybody's going to be good at math. Not everybody's going to be good at one thing or another. That's why I think it's so important, and I think it's vital that in these education systems that we're offering every possible
Yeah.
avenue for these kids to explore. Because we talk about, self-esteem, we talk about, how easy it would be to give up because they're being kind of you're trying to put all these kids in square pegs and round holes, or what, vice versa, or whatever, and it's just not for everybody.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right to do away with athletics or art or music or any of that.
I so some of their arguments, is about a lot of these boosters are only wanting to funding sports and not wanting to see these the booster. They're saying that like the boosters are only seeing these kids as athletes and not student athletes, which is understandable. There is kind of greedy people out there that they'll only see things on one end of the spectrum where it's really a whole thing. What we're trying to do with these kids in schooling is preparing them for life in general. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? And like you said, doing that to give give them all the different aspects that we can, to help them grow as a person, right? And whether it be sports, art, or music, or actual education, schooling, learning math, English, science, all that shebang, right? Giving them the most opportunities that they can, whatever. But some of the boosters that do, donate to sporting stuff, could they donate to the actual school itself? Yeah, they could, but at the end of the day, it's their money. They can do what they want with it, right? So,
exactly. I don't see what they're saying, like about how, yeah, no, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with
yeah,
that at all.
it's
I
more
think
of
it's,
like,
I think it's, I mean, I get why they're saying it and how they feel like people might be excluded, but should we exclude those kids because some other kids feel excluded? Now we're
Yeah,
getting into this, and no.
yeah.
I don't want to get into that.
Let's just find a way to, make
All get along, like
all
all
get
get along.
along. Exactly. All get along. And like you said, if we're able to give the most opportunities in different aspects, then we cast a wider net, really.
Yeah, we need to teach communications in high school, obviously, like
Yeah.
critical thinking,
Yeah,
all that good
exactly.
stuff.
So let's move on to the next prompt. Pretty big one. College should be free.
You know what? I said that, and I talked to in front of my 12-year-old when I was reading these prompts and looking at it and thinking about it, and he goes, "Nope." And I said, "Why?" And I was like, he's like, "Well, because I mean, then everybody would go." And I was like, "Well, what's wrong with that?" I was like, "Do you honestly think everybody would go?" He's like, "No." I was like, "See?" So even if it was free, not everybody would go, and not everybody needs to go for what they want to do. So I'm all for it being free, and if they could wipe out my student debt, that'd be cool.
I mean, I'm sure we all would want that, but I think it's more of a, for me, I think it's more, maybe not necessarily free, but maybe it should be kind of like
Affordable.
how, well, affordable, but I think colleges should be run like how trade schools are run.
Yeah,
You know
that
what
would
I'm
be it.
saying? Because it makes so much sense. Like, if colleges should be just like for those big career fields like lawyers, doctors, where you actually need these, to be
So
book smart, you know what I'm saying?
So have specialized colleges. So
Ex-
like have a college that's strictly for lawyers, have a college that's strictly for doctors, like
I mean, they
specializing in
do
that.
have those, right? But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, each college you look at is going to have an area that they excel at, like an area that's their, you know, claim to fame. But
I think for like lawyers or just law practicing law or practicing medicine should be like a trade, like how they treat it with construction or plumbing or
I agree,
carpentry, all that stuff.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Because, like we said, you can graduate at the bottom of your class and still not be awesome at being a doctor. Either you got it or you don't, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to apprenticeships.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. I was looking at it. The system that it is now, student loans started in 1965, and then they just revamped them in 1993. So this is all relatively new.
Hmm.
Like all this system and the way it's set up is a relatively new thing. And how did we resolve the whole debt ceiling, without, defaulting on our debts is because they're opening it back up to take student loan payments, which was, I think they said was 5 billion a month
That's
that they make.
crazy.
5 billion a month. Like I can't even I'll never see that amount of money in my life. Like
I don't think
maybe I will. Maybe
anybody.
I will.
We'll
Maybe
see,
I will.
right?
We'll see. But
We'll see.
yeah, it's just crazy to me. But yeah, no, I think it should be affordable. I don't think it should be. I mean, I had to put myself through school. Um, Started college when I was 17, and I'm on the 20-year plan for my student loans.
Well, it's more of a, like you said, affordable, but doable for us to get into whatever career field, and the payment should reflect what the actual salary that we're getting. But that's the issue too, right? A lot of people get these different degrees and they're not even in their career field that the degree is for.
Because they're forcing you, like our generation, like I graduated at 17. Like, how am I supposed to know exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life at 17?
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to help people. My first semester of school was criminal justice. I wanted to actually go into OSI in the Air Force, and I had my kid young, so I wasn't leaving my baby. So I did criminal justice, and then I thought I'd go into behavioral sciences. I love that stuff. I love talking to people. I love figuring things out. I know I want to help people. That's about all I knew. I didn't know what route to do, what thing. And even New York, going for went to community college, it was costing me $1,800 a semester way back then, like for community college in New York.
I mean, I'm on the same boat as you. That's, I realized that giving back or helping people, in whatever aspect in life, that was kind of what made me happy. So yeah, whether it be coaching or like what I'm doing now, I'm helping blind people kind of readjust their life to, now they used to have sight, now they're blind. So I'm helping people that way and just putting smiles on people's faces. That's really what I really want to do in life. So
Right? And how can you put a price tag on that? And we're not getting the salaries we should be making out here.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's a totally big topic. That's one of those topics where I feel like we need
A
maybe yeah,
whole
10 people in
hour
the
just to
room.
talk about. and
Well,
a whole hour just to talk about it because there's so
yeah,
many viewpoints of that, so many ways you can go. But bottom line, should it be free at 4-year level? Yeah, I don't see why we can't make it free or more affordable.
yeah,
Because it's not going to take away from what it is. It's not going to take that work away. You're
yeah,
going to have to put in the work regardless. And that's
yeah,
why
for
my
sure.
son, my 12-year-old is like, nope, they got to pay for it. They got to earn it. It's
I
like,
mean, I get it.
dang,
I get it
dang,
there.
boy. Like, we're ruthless out here today, I guess. Um, but I see what he's saying and I see what people say with that, but you still have to do the work. You still
Yeah,
got to do all that work.
exactly. Which kind of leads me to the next prompt. College is more, and I think this is kind of towards the government or the whole system, right? College is more about money rather than the education for students.
We already kind of touched on this a little bit
Mm-hmm.
through everything else because it plays a part in all of it. Like everything, they always say follow the money, right? You want to know the answer to something, follow the money. So is it a business? Yeah, it's a business. It's a big business. But is it all about that? I don't think so. I think some schools are all about the money. Some schools are all about the bottom line. Some schools could care less who you are, what your family's life's about, what you're going to school for, how you like what I do in my everyday life and what I talk to students and when I talk to you, what's one of the first things I ask is like, what do you want like from this? And like I'm honest with my students. I had a student call me the other day and said they wanted to be an RN. Not the place for you. You don't need to spend money on a 4-year degree to be an RN. Look
Yeah,
at a trade school, look at a community college, look at something like that. I try my best to be honest and help people, and I know that that's the philosophy where I work, and I feel fortunate for that because I know there's some places that that's not the philosophy. It's about that money. So yeah, it's a business, but I don't think it's all about that. And I don't know if that's just my little Pollyanna view and not wanting to let go of that, but I feel like education is something important, is something that should be valued above the monetary amount.
yeah, for sure. No, I totally agree. And I wish that all the university counselors have the same mindset as you. I know a lot of other. No, I don't know them personally, but I know this happens, with other students where they'll call in and say, "Hey, I want to be an RN," and you straight up said like, "Oh, this is not the place for you," or "It wouldn't be smart for you to to come here." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it just makes sense. You know what I mean? Like at some point, you gotta pull out your humanity and really like
yeah,
kind of tell yourself, am I really helping this person be successful by telling them this? You know what I mean?
exactly. And I don't think that serves anybody well if you're not in anything you do, if you can't approach it with humanity and kindness and love, then you got to reevaluate what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So that brings us to the last prompt. But before we talk about the last prompt, guys, I just want to shout out to all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Thank you guys for sticking with us on the episode. I know school is a pretty big topic. If you guys have any thoughts on any of the prompts today that we talked about, please feel free to comment down below. Tell us your guys' thoughts, and let's have a conversation. We'll keep it
Yeah.
civil. We'll keep it civil, but we're adult enough to have
Yeah,
a civil conversation.
for
We'll
sure.
we'll make sure we keep that middle ground and agree to disagree, all that stuff. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys. If you guys are new here, this is the podcast that called the Super Deep Podcast. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any episode that airs, which airs on every Wednesday. And if you guys on Spotify, please follow the podcast. Listen to the shows on there or watch it. Spotify is video now. And do me a favor and rate the show if you guys possibly can. And yeah, we're gonna move on to the final prompt. Jessica, again, really glad that you're here. Pretty good insights on each prompt, but the final prompt.
You don't gotta lie to kick it.
No, 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 for real,
No,
no,
I'm
for
kidding. I'm kidding.
real.
That's just, I tell my kids all the time.
Final prompt. People don't need a degree to be successful.
100% true. You don't need a degree to be successful. I think we talked about this throughout the thread too. It just depends on what you want to do, where your success lies. I mean, there's a lot of options out there to be successful without a degree. But I mean, if you look at the statistics, they tell you, you're 33% more likely to be whatever it is. The numbers are out there and they're astronomical with what they say that you're going to be earning at a 4-year degree versus I think it's 21% more. But I mean, I don't know where they're getting that from because like you said, it's on the individual person. my husband, like he's a phenomenal machinist. He taught himself. He's self-taught to be a machinist, running those lathes, running those mathematical equations, like at fractions, at tens of thousands, at hundreds of thousands of fractions, and dialing that in and doing that. He taught himself that. You can be successful running a business doing that. You could be successful as an artist. You could be successful so many different ways. I
Yeah.
just feel like there's just not one way to be successful. And I think for our generation, being told having that 4-year degree was the only way to success was a surefire way to a lot of anxiety, depression, and disappointment, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. It
But yeah,
was, I mean, I think, I think with that, right? I think it was because of some good examples that people set pretty good examples as far as using their college degree and being successful. And so it was just in that time where, people would see that and they're like, okay, that's what my kid needs to do. You know what I mean? I feel like
yeah,
that played a big part into it instead of, them feeling like they're being brainwashed, I guess, that like college is the
yeah,
only
no.
way.
No, 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 for sure. Not like that at all. But like I said, my dad was a trade worker, and he worked at Cornell University, which is a prestigious school, research school in New York. And he works along doctors, and he was treated differently because he wasn't a doctor. He was,
Mm,
he wanted better for us kids, and he wanted more for us. And I think that's what the premise was behind that, pushing us kids to do that.
right, right.
But and I think also a lot of it was too is there was so many people in the trades post World War II. Manufacturing was huge and the trades were huge, and then you had so many people working in the trades. All those jobs were filled, and so then they're looking, oh well, I'm the guy doing this for the doctor down the road, and they're living. You know what I mean? So they
Right.
saw people living, better and wanted that for us. So, I mean, college has its place, and college can help you be successful. Like when I grew up, I decided recently that I'm gonna be applied behavioral analyst. I'm sticking with my university counseling. I love it, but I want to own a consulting business doing beh applied behavioral analysis. So, I got to go back to school for 2 more years, get my 1,500 hours, do my licensure, pay for my licensure. So it's gonna be a grind, but I decided that's where I want to go, and that's how I can serve people and be happy.
Well,
So it has its place.
you know your path, and I'm sure from the little time that I've known you, and you gonna get there for sure.
Yeah, I will. I might be 50, but I'm gonna get there.
So those are all the prompts, and with every guest, as you've probably seen on the podcast, we like to end the show with the guest telling us what is one saying that you try to live by. So what is one saying that you try to live by?
I have two big ones that I try to live by, and instill in my kids and myself. The golden rule, honestly, treat others how you want to be treated. That's a big one for me. And then the other one is keep your mind, keep your thoughts, be mindful of your thoughts, be mindful of your words, be mindful of your actions, because that becomes your character. It's a big one for me, those two.
That's the second one. The first one I've always lived by that. I try to,
Yeah,
and then the second one that's a really really good one. I never really thought of it that way. Being mindful. I mean, so my high school, our motto for my high school was mindful and faithful because we're a private and Catholic school. So mindful and faithful, that was our saying or our motto, and so I've always had that in my upbringing was, being mindful of my thoughts, being mindful of my actions, of everything. But I never saw it like that to where everything that you do, as far as thoughts, what you think, what you say, what you do, reflects your character. So
mhm.
that makes a lot of sense. That was deep.
But
uh,
yeah, I think about it a lot. Like if you think about it, like your thoughts become what comes out of your mouth. What it comes out of your mouth becomes your actions. And your actions are who you are.
who you are at that moment, and obviously, emotions come into play, situations come into play, and some people may act differently or whatever, but you know,
We
whatever it
bounce back to the golden rule.
exactly,
So
exactly.
like if I'm having a bad day and being a total a-hole, like please be nice to me. Obviously I'm having a bad day and I'll be nice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
With everything, say a situation happens, right? And you have bad thoughts, and then you say bad things, and you do bad things, or whatever, and then you show this whole side of you that people may think that this is your character. Don't let that define your character.
No, no, no,
You could
no,
always
no.
bounce back from that.
Exactly. You can reset. You can hit reset on that 20, 30, 40 times a day if you need to.
Yeah.
There's no set. But I just try to tell myself before I say those things, before I let those things come out of my mouth. My mom sat down to me and told me I had to learn tact. I was like, so you want me to lie? And that's what I was working with as a kid. So I've just always been very honest about things, and sometimes my honesty isn't the honesty of everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right, right. You're everybody has their own truth, and
Exactly.
so. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the podcast, the end of the episode. So, before we, start to land this plane, Jessica, you have any final words for anybody, me or whoever, the millions of viewers?
Honestly, we talked a lot about school, and everybody's getting out of school for the summer, and so nobody wanted to talk about school. But there's a lot of positives to it. There's really a lot of positives to it, and it's up to your individual self, like Starr said, about how you're going to see your education through. So if your school's not offering shop class, I implore you to explore different avenues of education, find what's right for you, and find what your truth is for that. And no, it might shift. Mine shifted 4 or 5 times, from archaeologist to lawyer to you know going into behavioral sciences to helping. Like,
Huh?
be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and find out what's right for you. There's not one set path.
Yep, for sure. At the end of the day, just know school is important. Don't get us
Mhm.
wrong. Just know that there is a plethora. How's my English, my
That's
dictionary now?
good.
A
See,
plethora.
reading, education, word
there's
of the day,
a
guys.
there's a plethora of options. There's a plethora of opportunities. So don't get stuck to one. If you do fail at one, don't think that you're gonna fail on the next one or the next one or the
No.
next one.
Yeah.
As we end the show, I'm gonna do my co-host a favor and say what she says. I'm probably not gonna say it word for word, but basically what she always says is to be unapologetically yourself. With that, guys, we'll catch you guys next week on the next episode. And thank you guys again for watching. Yes, sir.